hopefully you're bene instead of male. Today, just going to go over some things that we learned on Thursday and Friday. The Friday video will be a separate one from this, but it'll be good. So remember our goals for Thursday were identifying the nominative and accusative cases and the structure of a Latin sentence. So the Latin sentence is not the same as English. In English, it's usually structured like the subject, verb, and object. In Latin, it's mostly subject, object, verb. Now, that's not 100% always going to be true, but for the most part, it's going to be true in the beginning. The verb will mostly come last, the object will come second, and the subject will come first. But literally, because they're an inflected language, they can do whatever they want with the sentence with the words. So it can be in any order, but that's the majority of order you're going to see is subject, object, verb. Okay. So remember, you should all know this. Parts of speech, because Latin doesn't follow a sentence structure like in English, we need to know what a word is doing in a sentence. So just to review, these are some things that you can see in a sentence. Noun is a person, place, or thing, or idea. Pronoun, it stands in the place of a noun that has been mentioned before. So like I, she, him, it. An adverb modifies or defines verbs. Usually ends in an ly. Doesn't have to, but usually does, like quickly or quietly or something like that. Adjective modifies a noun just like adverbs modify verbs, so it's little or strong or brave or whatever. Verb tells the subject what it's doing. Preposition begins a prepositional phrase. It's literally where a mouse can go is how I learned it. So like in, to, on, for, by, those type of words. Conjunction, phrases, clauses, sentences, or connects phrases, clauses, and sentences, excuse me, like and, but, or. Interjections are like wow, ah, oh my gosh, that kind of thing. That's an interjection. It's like an expressive word. So all of those things are in Latin. They're just not, they're going to be all over the place. So make sure the reason we go over this is because you're not going to know which word is which, except for by endings. Before we get to that, in order to figure out and translate sentences, not only can you use a Latin to English dictionary, don't use Google Translate. It's terrible. You can use derivatives. So an English word, a derivative is an English word that is rooted in Latin. It helps you determine what a Latin word means. For example, if we had aquarium, you would know that has something to do with water because aqua means water. Or defenestration has something to do with windows because Fenstra means window, that kind of thing. That's how you do it. So, but we did the exercise in the and it is in the homework section, so make sure you look at that as well. Some other words. So how do we know what a word is doing in a Latin sentence? Well, there are things called endings that they have to have, and each of these endings and nouns are defined in 3 different ways: number, gender, and case. The endings that go along with the word are only going to be plural or singular, which is the number, have masculine, feminine, or neuter, which is the case. And those have to be memorized, unfortunately, but they're pretty easy. Feminine nouns have an A in them, actually all the time. Masculine has a US or a U in it, possibly O. And a neuter we won't go into because we're going to go into those later. The other thing that Latin nouns have, and how you know what they're doing knowing what they're doing in a sentence, and this is the most important part, is its case. They're defined by what they do because of the ending. That ending gives you not only number and gender, but also case. Case is going to tell you if it's the subject, the direct object, whatever it's doing in the sentence. And there are 5 commonly used cases: nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, and ablative. We will go into how they are grouped on Monday, and we'll try to talk through it during the week this week. But that's how you know what they're doing. Now, a little study tip: If you don't remember like what the cases are, this is a good way to know it. Never give dogs any apples as an acronym. That will help you learn what order they go into. So it's pretty good. So the two cases I wanted to focus on in this one are nominative and accusative. Nominative cases, when you see that nominative ending, you always automatically will think that it is the subject. Okay, 100%. Subjects perform the action of the verb. They're usually at the beginning of the sentence, but here are the two important endings you need to know. Endings are either, at least in the declensions, which we'll talk about on Monday, there's 5 of those. They're either going to be, for now, they're going to be either A or US. So if you see those endings, think that it's nominative. On the other side, accusative means that the noun is going to be the direct object. It means receiving the action of the verb, meaning if somebody hit the ball to a kid, that kid is receiving the action of the hit, right? That's what I mean by the direct object. They're directly affected. Their endings, singular. We're not doing plural until Tuesday, but their endings include am or um. So they're very similar to what the nominative are. They have the a or the u, right? And we practiced that, recognizing those on Thursday within the practice number 3. So that went pretty well. Most of you guys did pretty well on that. But you guys missed this. The predicate nominative, if there is a linking verb, like est or s for now, we will go into this verb later, but if you see an est or an s, that means it is a linking verb. And then there would not be an accusative because the subject is describing itself. So it's going to be in the nominative case. We call it a predicate nominative. For example, if I say the boy is tall, tall would be the predicate nominative because it is describing the boy. Is giving you more information about the subject. It's not doing anything, right? It's a state of being. So here's another Latin sentence. Puella pulchra est. Puella is the subject, means girl. Pulchra is an adjective meaning beautiful, and est is a linking verb meaning is. So the predicate nominative is in the same case, which is the nominative case, as the subject. That is pulchra. Okay, that is why it's a nominative. Some of you had trouble with that, but when I went over it, seemed like you got it. So hopefully this helped a little bit. We did practice number 3 when we did it. You can see an example here. You had to give a reason, which Rhea Silvia, if you didn't know, has ends with an A, so that would be a nominative. A feminine, yes, but a nominative ending, so that means it's the subject of the sentence, right? Notice that Ramum and Romulum have a um, which means that would be the accusative, which means the direct object, okay? So we did the homework. We went over it, all that. You can redo it if you need to.